Hi students, welcome back. We are in Unit 1, The Living World, in which we are in Chapter 3, Plant Kingdom, and this is a Part 2 video. In Part 2 video, we are going to see about the bryophytes. In Part 1 video, we have seen the Thallophyta, that is algae, and now we are moving on to the second division, which is the bryophytes. Coming to the characteristics of bryophytes, see, this is the picture of bryophytes. Their habits and habitats. Bryophytes include the various mosses and liverworts, which are usually found in moist shaded areas in the hills. So bryophytes are usually seen in moist shaded areas and in hills. Bryophytes are also called amphibians of the plant kingdom because they can live on soil but need water for sexual reproduction. They live on soil but they need water for their sexual reproduction because the male gamete, which is the anthrozoid, has to move towards to the female gamete. For that it needs a water media through which it can swim through to the female egg. They are usually found in damp, humid and shaded localities. So they are seen in damp, humid and shaded localities. Coming to the characteristics of bryophytes. The plant body is thallus-like and can be prostrate or erect. Bryophytes are non-vascular plants and they don't have a well-differentiated body structure. They don't have the vascular tissue, xylem and phloem, and their plant body is thallus-like and it can be prostrate, that is flattened, or erect, that is upright. The plant body is attached to the substratum by unicellular or multicellular rhizoids. So here it is the rhizoids. This rhizoids fix the plant body to the substratum, that is soil, and it may be unicellular or multicellular in nature. True roots, stem or leaves are absent. Here true roots, stem and leaves are absent. However, root-like, leaf-like or stem-like structures are present. So it has root-like, leaf-like or stem-like structure present, and the plant body is divided into gametophytic and sporophytic. This bryophyte has the alternation of generation. In the alternation of generation, haploid gametophyte and diploid sporophyte is involved. The haploid gametophyte produces the male and female sex organ, and this male and female sex organ produces the haploid gametes, male gamete and female gamete, and the male gamete and the female gamete fuse together to form the diploid zygote, and the diploid zygote in turn gives rise to the diploid sporophyte. The sporophyte is diploid in nature, and the sporophyte undergoes meiosis to form the haploid spores, and this haploid spores in turn give rise to the haploid gametes. So this cycle goes on. This is the life cycle of bryophytes, in which haploid gametophyte is predominant and the diploid sporophyte gives rise to the haploid gametophyte. Coming to the reproduction in bryophytes. See, the anthrodiopause, which is the male sex organ, and the archegoniophores, which is the female sex organ. The anthrodiopore gives rise to the sperm, and the archegoniophore gives rise to the egg, which is the female gamete, and the sperm and egg fuse together to form the zygote, and the zygote undergoes mitosis and produces a sporangium, sporophyte, and this sporophyte undergoes meiosis to form spores, and these spores germinate into a new plant. The main plant body is haploid in bryophytes. So the main plant body is gametophyte and it is haploid in nature. The main plant body is called gametophyte because it produces gametes. As it produces gametes, it is called as gametophyte. Sex organs are multicellular. Male sex organ is called antheridium and produces biflagellate anthrozoids. So the male sex organ is called as antheridium and it produces biflagellate anthrozoids, Anthrozoids are motile in nature and they have flagella to swim towards the egg. The female sex organ is called archegonium and it produces a single egg. It produces only single egg, the archegonium, which is a female sex organ. Coming to fertilization in bryophytes. The bryophytes need water for its fertilization. So the raindrop serves as a medium for the antheridium, which is a sperm, to swim towards the egg. Okay, so the sperm swim towards the egg and fuses together, and that process is called as fertilization, and this fertilization results in the formation of diploid zygote. The haploid sperm fuses with the haploid egg and forms the diploid zygote, and the diploid zygote undergoes mitosis and produces multicellular sporophyte, and this sporophyte undergoes meiosis to form haploid spores, and the haploid spores upon germination forms a haploid gametophyte. Anthrozoids are released into water for fertilization. After fertilization, zygote does not immediately divide meiotically. Zygote produces a multicellular body called sporophyte. So the sporophyte is formed from the diploid zygote. So it is diploid in nature. Sporophyte is attached to the photosynthetic gametophyte so that it can get nourishment from the gametophyte. Gametophyte is photosynthetic in nature and it produces its own food, whereas the sporophyte doesn't have any photosynthetic structure. So it depends on the gametophyte for its nourishment. So the diploid sporophyte depends on the haploid gametophyte for its nourishment. Some cells of the sporophyte undergo meiosis to produce haploid spores. The spores germinate to produce gametophyte. The juvenile gametophyte is called protonema. So the spores that are produced by the sporophyte get dispersed and germinates into a haploid gametophyte. The spores are haploid in nature and so they give rise to a haploid gametophyte, and this haploid gametophyte, which is formed immediately after the germination of spores, is called as protonema. The juvenile gametophyte is called as protonema. Coming to the classification of bryophytes. The bryophytes are divided into two main classes, that is liverworts and mosses. So this is the picture of liverworts. The first one we are going to see is liverworts. Coming to liverworts, their characteristics. They usually grow in moist and shady habitats. The plant body is thalloid. As a general bryophyte, it grows in moist and shady habitats and the plant body is thalloid in nature. Thallus is dorsiventral and closely uppressed to the substrate. So it is dorsiventral and it is closely fixed to the substrate, that is soil. Some members have tiny leaf-like appendages in two rows on the stem-like structure. So they have tiny leaf-like appendages and it is arranged in two rows on the stem-like structure. Example of liverworts is Rixia, Martensia and Pellia. Coming to reproduction in liverworts. Asexual reproduction takes place by fragmentation or by formation of specialized structures called gemmae. So asexual reproduction can take place by both fragmentation and also by an unique structure called gemmae. See, this is gemmae. A gemma is a green multicellular asexual bud. The plural form is gemmae and the singular form is gemma. And the gemma is a green multicellular asexual bud. A gemma develops in small receptacles called gemma cup. So this is gemma and this is gemma cup. See, the cup-like structure which holds the gemma is called as gemma cup. The gemma gets detached from the parent body and germinates to form a new individual. So the gemma on maturation gets detached from the parent body and develops into a new offspring. In case of sexual reproduction, male and female sex organs are produced either on the same or on different thalli. In case of sexual reproduction, male and female sex organs can be produced on the same gametophyte or on the different thalli. on a different gametophyte. So it may be on the same body or on the different body. The sporophyte is differentiated into fruit, seta and capsule. Spores are produced after meiosis. So the sporophyte is differentiated into fruit, seta and capsule, and the spores are produced after the meiosis in the sporophyte structure. Those spores germinate to produce free-living gametophytes. So the spores are haploid in nature and they germinate to form the haploid gametophyte, and these gametophytes are photosynthetic in nature. So they do not depend on other sporophytes for their nourishment. So they are free-living gametophyte. So this is some structure and reproduction in bryophyte. This is Anthoceras and it belongs to hornworts, and this Anthoceras has a horn-like structure. The sporophyte is a horn-like, so it is called as hornworts. And this is a structure of Funaria. This is rhizoids and this is a leaf which is a gametophyte, and this is a sporophyte structure which consists of the capsule, and this is Sphagnum species. This is a structure of Sphagnum species, and this is a structure of rhizoids. It is pegged and smooth walled rhizoids. Here it is pegged. Okay, it has a rough structure, and here it is a smooth walled rhizoids. Both are seen in the bryophytes, and this is a fragmentation process in Rixia, which is the asexual reproduction. Here, the vegetative structure gets fragmented. It is cut into pieces, and each fragment is capable of producing into a new offspring. So, this process is called as fragmentation, and it comes under asexual reproduction. And the asexual reproduction can also be taken place by tuber. This tuber elongates and cut into fragments and develops into new offspring. This is more or less similar to that of fragmentation, and it is seen in Anthoceros, and this gemme formation is seen in Marchantia. So gemme is the gemma cup, the cup-like structure which is called as gemma cup, consists of the receptacles, and this on maturation gets detached from the parent body and develops into a new offspring. So this gemma cup is also a part of asexual reproduction. So coming to sexual reproduction, it is a mature gametophyte. The mature gametophyte is a haploid gametophyte which consists of the sex organs, male antheridophore and the female archegoniophore. And this antheridophore and the archegoniophore produces the antheridium and the archegonium, and which consists of the egg and sperm. So antheridium produces the anthrozoid, which is a sperm, and archegonium produces the egg. So it is a female gamete and the male gamete, and the sperm and the egg fuses together to form the zygote, which is a diploid in nature, and the fertilization takes place in archegonia. So the zygote is produced in the archegonium, and this zygote develops into the embryo, and this embryo forms the mature sporophyte. It produces the multicellular structure called sporophyte, and this sporophyte undergoes meiosis to form the haploid spores, and this haploid spores on dispersal germinates into the new gametophyte, and the new gametophyte which is produced immediately after germination is called as protonema. That is a juvenile gametophyte, and this protonema give rise to buds and rhizoids, and this buds develops into a new leafy structure, and that is a mature gametophyte, and this mature gametophyte in turn gives rise to the sex organs, and this cycle goes on. So this is about the sexual reproduction in liverworts. Coming to the second division, which is mosses. So this is the picture of mosses. They are so beautiful, right? Yes. Coming to mosses, their characteristics. Gametophyte is the predominant stage of the life cycle of mosses. So in life cycle of mosses, gametophyte is the predominant stage. The gametophyte consists of two stages, that is protonema stage and the leafy stage. As I said earlier, protonema is the juvenile gametophyte, which is the structure that is formed immediately after the germination of the spore, and the leafy stage is formed from the buds of Protonema. The Protonema gives rise to the leafy buds, and these leafy buds gets germinated into the leafy stage. Protonema develops from the spore. It is creeping, branched and usually filamentous. So the Protonema is branched and usually filamentous. The leafy stage develops from the Protonema as a lateral bud. The Protonema gives rise to the bud, which in turn develops into the leafy stage. The leafy stage consists of upright, slender, axis-bearing, spirally arranged leaves. So the leafy stage. So this is the leafy stage. This is the gametophyte, and it has a upright, slender, axis-bearing, spirally arranged leaves. The leaves are spirally arranged around the axis. It is attached to the soil through multicellular and branched rhizoids. So the gametophyte is attached to the soil by the rhizoids, that is a root-like structure. The leafy stage bears the sex organs. The gametophyte leafy stage bears the sex organ, that is antheridium and the archegonium. Example of mosses is Funaria, Polytrichum and Sphagnum. So this part is the sporophyte. This is the sporophyte part, and this is the gametophyte part. The green structure is the gametophyte, and this is the sporophyte, which is a capsule. Coming to reproduction in mosses. So this is the life cycle of typical moss. Here the mature gametophyte gives rise to the female and male sex organ, and the male sex organ gives rise to the male gamete, which is the antheridium, which is sperm, and the female sex organ gives rise to the female gamete, which is the egg, and the sperm and egg fuses together to form the zygote upon fertilization, and this zygote is formed in the archegonium. So the archegonium has the neck wall and the neck canal, and the zygote in turn divides mitotically and forms the multicellular sporophyte. The sporophyte has a foot, seta and capsule. So foot is the structure which fixes the sporophyte with the gametophyte, and the seta is the tubular structure, and capsule is the structure which holds the spores. So the sporophyte undergoes meiosis and forms the haploid spores, and this haploid spores on dispersal germinates into the young Protonema. Protonema is the juvenile gametophyte, and this haploid spores give rise to the haploid gametophyte, and this Protonema is creeping and branched, and it is filamentous in nature, and this Protonema gives rise to buds. This buds again gives rise to the leafy shoots. Okay, so the rhizoids, which is the root-like structure, fixes the gametophyte to the soil, and this leafy shoots gives rise to the male and female sex organ on its apex. So this life cycle goes on and on again and again. Vegetative reproduction takes place by fragmentation and budding in the secondary Protonema. So the vegetative reproduction, that is the asexual reproduction, takes place by fragmentation or by budding. In case of sexual reproduction, antheridia and archegonia are produced at the apex of the leafy shoots. So antheridia and archegonia are produced at the apex of the leafy shoots. After fertilization, the zygote develops into a sporophyte. So after fertilization, the zygote develops into the sporophyte, mature sporophyte. The sporophyte consists of a foot, seta and capsule. So it is a foot, seta and capsule. The capsule contains spores. Spores are formed after meiosis. So the capsule contains the spores, and these spores are produced after the meiosis process, which is a reduction division. So the diploid sporophyte produces the haploid spores upon meiosis. There is an elaborate mechanism of spore dispersal in mosses. So there is an elaborate mechanism of spore dispersal in mosses. In this, the mechanism includes swelling and shrinking. So it includes the swelling and shrinking of capsule, and on drying it dehiscence. Dehiscence means breaks apart. This capsule breaks apart and the spores are dispersed through wind, air current, and it germinates on reaching the moist places. So coming to the economic importance of bryophytes. Peat is obtained from species of Sphagnum, which is a moss. So peat is a matter that is obtained from the species of Sphagnum, which belongs to mosses. Peat has been in use as fuel. So peat is used as a biofuel. Peat is also used as packing material for shipment of living materials because peat has good capacity to hold water. As it has a good capacity to hold water, it is used as a packing material for shipment of living materials, that is plants. So mosses are among the first organisms to colonize rocks and thus play an important role in soil formation. So they are the first organisms to colonize rocks and they played an important role in the soil formation as they produce some chemicals which erode the rocks. It helps in the formation of soil. Some mosses also prevent soil erosion which may happen because of rain as they form dense mats on soils. So during rain, the soil may be eroded, the top soil may be eroded. This mosses forms a compact covering over the soil, so it prevents the soil erosion during rain. With this, we come to the end of this video. You go through this video again and again for a better understanding. Thank you students. We will meet on the part 3 video. Thank you.